second game on Saturday, the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles. And this one, guys, is take your best guess when it all comes down to it. Steven, we know what the Eagles are going to kind of be doing here. They have a bunch of guys on the COVID list as it is anyway. They also pretty much, they haven't fully said that they're going to be taking this one off, but, you know, we're kind of reading the tea leaves here, and it seems like there's going to be a very minimal effort from the starters out there in this one. And then, you know, we start to get some drip maybe out of Dallas that they could be considering the same thing when it comes to the starters. This one is very, very, there's way too much, I think, here for me in the unknown realm for me to feel confident about putting any sort of ticket out there. Now, that being said, where we sit right now, the Cowboys are 4.5-point favorites over the Eagles, a total of 43.5.
So we have typically recorded this podcast on Thursdays throughout the year, and I was going to recommend the Cowboys as a teaser leg, and I'm glad we didn't, and we started moving to Fridays here with this COVID stuff going on, because this is a perfect example why. This line was 7.5 on Thursday. We record this Friday morning. It's down to 4.5, 5. All throughout most of this week, the Cowboys have said they're going to play their starters. They're going to play to win. Well, now they get Micah Parsons on the COVID list. They get their left tackle, Tyron Smith, on the COVID list. They have some other guys that are banged up. I don't really see the motivation for that. Like, you could talk about a slightly better seed in the playoffs here, but I'm not sure where the motivation is. On the flip side, I think the Eagles maybe have the least motivation of any team in the league this week. They've already locked up a playoff spot. Who cares which wild card seed that they have? Quite honestly, they're going to play a very difficult team in the first round. So, and on top of that, they had a dozen players hit the COVID list on. It's not just a couple guys. It's a dozen guys on the COVID list that could theoretically clear. But again, what's the point of playing them this week? You'd rather just sit them out, get them,
because they weren't able to practice. That's the other thing to mention, right? Like, so it's not only running these guys. It's not like, oh, they cleared, let's go play. It's, you're getting a whole bunch of dudes that have been,
you're putting them at
on
risk.
the couch, right? Yeah.
So if the Cowboys starters are going to play, and you have to take a risk here, but that'd be the only side I'd be interested in. I certainly don't want anything to do with the Eagles, especially at a worse number now, when I am most confident in this game that their starters are not going to play. And I don't care that Gardner Minshew went off against the New York Jets in his one start this year.
Yeah. So, Brad, kind of same thing with me. I mean, it'd be a Cowboys or pass, just because, look, in theory, they could move up to the number 2 seed if you care about that. In years past, the number 2 seed meant something you got to buy. It doesn't mean anything this year. You still have to play. So, yeah, maybe they want to get to the number 2 seed. I don't know. Again, a lot of trying to handicap motivation and what's going on internally inside the organization. Now you have a couple of guys on the COVID list. You've got all this. Like, it's hard for me. Cowboys are pass, but I don't have a strong opinion on it.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you guys. It does sound like the Cowboys want to play harder. I think Dak and Mike McCarthy said earlier in the week, like, we're playing to win the game. Does that change now? Everyone's ill. Like, there's a flu going around as well as COVID. Like, yeah, I guess we've got the slight upside that they might start Dak and might play hard, whereas we know the Eagles have no interest. So yeah, could only go Cowboys at the current price, but it is a bit of a car crash again.
Yeah, that was the early week press conference. Let's see what Mike McCarthy says at the Friday press conference now that all these situations have changed.